Can you feel the heat down in your soul?
I feel the heat down in my soul.
Can you see the heat there in your soul?
I see the heat there in my soul.
Can you feel it?
I feel it.
Can you see it?
I see it.
It's Miami Heat. We can't be beat. It's Miami Heat.
The night David Robinson comes off the injured list for the Spurs as you look at your starting matchups from Southwest Airlines.
Eric, I've learned never to be surprised at anything that happens in the NBA, particularly in the coaching department. But it seems unfair to Bob Hill that now that he gets his best guy back in the lineup, a former MVP, that he gets canned and the general manager takes over.
Gund Arena, downtown Cleveland, beautiful facility. This is the third year the Cavaliers play in downtown, but their attendance is falling this afternoon. Over 7,000 tickets remain for this evening's game. The Heat come in with a 6th best record in the NBA. They are 3rd best in the Eastern Conference. And the Heat have had success recently against the Cavaliers, winning 3 of 4 3 years in a row. So Miami has actually won 9 of the last 12 games between them.
Both these teams know they're in for a battle tonight, Eric.
Jack Nees, Nolan Fine, and Michael Smith, our NBA officiating crew, and we are underway. And it seems like we've been waiting for this game a long time. The Heat have been here in Cleveland since Sunday. Right to Morning goes Miami. The Cavaliers double them. And you see that hustling Cavalier defense in rotation. Bobby Phills, a tremendous defender at the 2 guard, down to knock it away from P.J. Brown.
They make you use time off the shot clock, Eric.
Danilovic driving by Phills, clogged up on the baseline, and a traveling call on Sasha.
You've got to take shots when you have them. I think Sasha that time maybe one dribble and pull up, but he continued and took it into traffic where he got stuffed.
Terrell Brandon, 2nd year in a row. He averages 19 points a game. Made the All-Star team for the first time in his career last year, and a good bet to do that again this season. This is Tyrone Hill. Morning with a block, and P.J. Brown grabs the loose ball. Lonzo Mourning's 52nd block. He averages 2.5 a game. And that puts him at 6th in the league. Hardaway with a spin, drive, handoff. Oh, what a block by Mark West.
Yes, PJ trying to take it to the hoop, had that one rejected.
So 2 of the best teams at stopping ball clubs doing just that here in the first minute. No score and no surprise. Dan Marley off to Tim Hardaway, who wants to settle it down. Finds Thunder Dan for an open triple. Morning tipped it out of bounds. And your news from the front office brought to you by Office Depot. 6 Heat games been decided by 3 points or less. And that is the most of any team this year. And Miami has won 5 of the 6.
That's key, Eric. If you're going to have a good record, you've got to win those close games.
So we've played a minute and a half, and neither side has scored.
There you see the switch on the screen and roll that time.
Hardaway was fronting Phills. This is Chris Mills, and he knocks in a triple. Chris Mills, just his 16th 3 of the year, is scoring a little bit down this season, but he's still averaging 12 points a game.
Cavs shoot 40% from 3-point land.
And illegal defense for the first time tonight against Cleveland.
That was Tyrone Hill coming too far off P.J. Brown from the weak side, getting in the lane. P.J. stationed out at the perimeter.
Jack, 2 of the other areas the Cavaliers rank very high in, as you mentioned. 1, 3-point percentage, 3rd best in the league. Turnovers, 4th best, just 14 a game. Ball batted out. Miami will keep it with a fresh shot clock. 2 minutes into the first quarter. The Heat have not hit yet. They've missed their first 3 shots. Danilovic by Phills for the lay-in.
Sasha on the right-hand dribble to the baseline. When he got to the basket, he switched the ball to his left hand away from the defender and got the score.
So the Cavaliers by 1, 3-2. Ball deflected and stolen by Tim Hardaway, and we get a loose ball foul. And this is against Bobby Phills.
Let's take a look at Sasha switching to that left hand and easing that one into the hoop. He'd have the ball now in half court.
Hardaway looking for the backdoor play. Dan Marley's pass knocked out of bounds by Bobby Phills. Not a popular call here in Cleveland as Pat Riley looks on from his bench. 9.5 left, first quarter, and this game yet to really get tracked. So on the drive by West and
Good.
foul.
Now that's where he can beat Mark West. Zoe getting the ball at the perimeter. He did that a lot against Chicago, more than he had been, taking his man outside. Zoe can beat just about anybody when he puts the ball on the floor, any big man, that is. So he draws the foul, gets himself to the line, and gets a shooting opportunity before the defense can double team him.
Morning the other night at Chicago, 10 of 14 at the foul line. Matter of fact, he went to the stripe 12 times in the second half, 10 free throws in the third quarter. Put that in perspective, the Bulls took just 11 free throws the entire night.
Yeah, like the Coach Riley referred to the two stats, the low turnovers for the Heat and the fact that they got to the free throw line much more than Chicago.
And Miami claims its first lead of this game. Well, Brandon coming off a masterpiece against the Clippers. Not only the 30 points, 9 assists, but no turnovers. B.J. Brown on the rebound. Well, he's been a force on the board since becoming a starter. 9 rebounds a game. Hardaway changed his mind. Now throws up a triple. And the rebound off of Chris Mills' hands. He got a break. I thought he was out of bounds when he saved it in. We've played just over 3 minutes. Heat leading 4-3. Here's Brandon over Hardaway. And Dan Marley runs it down. So the misses are piling up. Both clubs 1 of 5. Marley on the reverse. And knocked out of bounds by the Cavs. Hill and West both going for it, and neither able to claim it.
Heat driving to the basket with pretty good consistency here, Eric. PJ.
Oh,
yes, sir.
Off the inbounds, P.J. Brown from Marley. The two-hand dunk, and Miami leads 6-3.
Well executed baseline out of bounds play. Good back pick by Sasha Danilovic.
Danilovic guarding Chris Mills. Marley is on Bobby Phills. And P.J. Brown able to knock it out of bounds.
Let's quickly watch that baseline out of bounds by Sasha. Has already back picked for P.J. and you see him coming in all by himself.
P.J. Brown coming off a terrific hustle game at Chicago. 8 of his 14 rebounds on the offensive board. P.J. is the Heat's best offensive rebounder this year. Shot clock at 6. Brandon misses short. And the Heat go back to work, leading 6-3. Nice entry to Morning for the easy hook before any double team could get there.
That's terrific. I think Mike Fratello is going to take a timeout because he doesn't like the direction of this game. Heat jumping out quickly.
And they've done it, scoring 8 straight points after the Chris Mills triple. So the Cavaliers call timeout.
Kids grade 6 through 12.
Let's take a look at the Heat in transition. This is Hardaway. Zoe running right down the center of the floor. And before he can, his defender, Mark West, can get position, Zoe has the catch and the hoop.
And the Heat with 8 straight points, lead by 5 back at Gund Arena. Mills missing long, and Tyrone Hill running it down and then throwing it away. So the Cavaliers off to an icy cold shooting start on their home court. They have missed 6 of 7 so far.
Eric, they are not getting good shots. And that's a tribute, of course, to the Heat defense.
And Marley for the cutting Hardaway. Beautiful feed for Morning. And he'll get a second try and ram it right through. So
well
Alonzo
executed.
has 6. And the Heat have scored 10 unanswered points.
Oh, well executed by the Heat. Hardaway getting a nice screen, getting the ball, giving it back to Big Zoe. Zoe gets a score on the second chance.
Mark West not a threat to score from up top. This is West on the turn. The 36-year-old veteran jumps in the hook. Funny, he averages just 4 points a game, but he is the leading career field goal shooter still active in the NBA at just under 59%. That ends Miami's run at 10 straight points. The Heat lead is 5. Morning on the drive draws the foul. So Alonzo Mourning facing the basket, which is something Pat Riley said he would like to see Zoe do more of, and it's really freed his game up.
Yes, this started before the Chicago game in order to get Zoe more shooting opportunities. Remember, he was only 3 for 10 in that Friday night game against the Knicks, and here comes Zoe right into your living room. You saw the bump by Mark West, so Zoe has a pair.
And Mark West goes to the Cleveland bench. Danny Ferry comes on. Ferry, a man that started about 77 games, I believe, a year ago. And he had his best season for Cleveland, by far his best year last season. 13 points a game, 143 triples. And the 7th-year man out of Duke, averaging 9 points a game this season.
This weakens the Cavs at the defensive end, but gives them another perimeter threat. This is the guy, Danny Ferry, the guy they run screen and rolls with to a high level of effectiveness.
Now Mourning has 8 of the Heat's first 12, and Miami's lead is 7. Terrell Brandon on the baseline. Gets it back from Hill. Brandon finds Ferry, who juggles and travels.
The Heat just playing outstanding defense. Fighting over screens. Zoe looks like he's hobbling a little bit. He is, coming from the backcourt.
Heat attacking inside well and leading it 12-5, 6:22 left here in the first quarter.
There's the double on Hardaway.
Cavaliers rotate out of those double teams extraordinarily well. Shot clock at 6. Hardaway looking for an open man, finds Mourning underneath. He finds Brown, dunks it home.
PJ with the power move.
Now, if you're keeping track at home, the Heat now with 5 field goals, and 4 of them have either been layups or dunks.
That's a sign of excellent execution.
Well, Miami's up by 9, and as Bobby Phills made the catch, the foul is against Tim Hardaway, the Heat's first foul tonight.
Let's take a look at this play, Eric. There's the pass to Zoe. He draws defenders, lays it off to PJ, and PJ with a two-hand stuffer.
That is your payback playback, brought to you by the Discover card. PJ Brown, couple of hoops on a couple of dunks. 9-point lead, first quarter of action for the Heat. Brandon gets through, and Mourning draws the foul. Terrell Brandon, excellent penetrator. He's 5'10", slippery, quick, can also hit perimeter jumpers, so a difficult man to defend.
Well, that's from screen and roll. The screen was set by Bobby Phills, and Brandon worms his way to the hoop and draws the foul from Zoe.
Terrell Brandon leads the NBA in free throw percentage at 92% this year. He's hit 55 of 60 at the stripe. Back for a number of years, he was the understudy to Mark Price, but really enjoyed his breakthrough season a year ago.
A lot of people question the wisdom of trading Price and handing the ball over to Brandon, but it's turned out to be a brilliant move, of course.
Terrell Brandon, 26 years old, his 6th season out of Oregon. Was terrific against the Clippers the other night. As we said, not a single turnover. And those are his first 2 points.
Well, you got to watch the Cavs with their trapping defense, Eric. They're very good. He had the answer there, however.
5.5 minutes left, first quarter. Miami out in front, 14-7. Timmy from three-point land, and Danny Ferry runs it down. This is Bobby Phills, second team all defense a year ago. In the Hill, who knocks home the reverse.
Yeah, nice play by Phills. Penetrated far enough to draw the big guy defenders, and then laid it off for the easy score.
And his lead is 5, just under 5 minutes left, first quarter, as Tyrone Hill defends Mourning. Back in the Zoe, he faces, fires, and is too wide with it. P.J. Brown on the offensive board, but the saving pass into Tyrone Hill. So the Cavs on a run back into it. Here's Chris Mills for 3. Oh, Ferry on the board, but he couldn't control it. Tim Hardaway surveys the floor, goes to the goal, and will go to the line.
Tim Hardaway has so many moves with the ball. Sometimes he goes between his legs on the crossover. But watch this. If you're defending Tim Hardaway, which way is he going to go? Is he going to go there or here? He ends up here and draws the foul.
Timmy been very offensive-minded the last 3 games, averaging 26 points in the last 3 outings, which included the 33-point outburst against the Dallas Mavericks, 28 more against the Knicks. On the year, Hardaway just under 19 points a game, leads the Heat in scoring, and keeps the Heat perfect at the foul line. 6 of 6 here in the opening quarter at Gund Arena in Cleveland. There's the pick and roll as Phils pops out, gets it back from Brandon. Gets all the way to the goal, but again, the detour sign in the form of Mourning and Marley. Lonzo Mourning in the middle. If your man gets past you, he's got your back.
What makes the Cavs so dangerous are guys like Phils, who shoots 48% from three-point land.
This is Tyrone Hill with 10 on the shot clock. Hill could not get a shot off against Mourning. Throws it away, and the Heat have the steal, and Danilovic dunks the ball. Sasha Danilovic with a two-hand stuff.
With a two-hand dunker by Sasha. How about that one?
We were teasing Sasha before the game. The gray hairs sprouting all about the scalp of Danilovic. No worries. Well, he'd been trying to hide it. That time, he ran and hit from the Cavalier defense off the turnover. Heat leading by 9. Brandon under duress comes up short. Mourning has the rebound, and the Heat defense with another lockdown job here in the first quarter. The Cavaliers just 3 for 12. Danilovic using the Mourning screen, and Alonzo Mourning. This seems to happen at least once a game, Lazzo. All for the offensive foul for setting the moving screen. His second foul of the quarter, and that'll bring Ike Austin off the Heat bench. That's frustrating to both Mourning and Riley, and that's the man they call the Ukraine train. Vitaly.
You try it, Eric.
Well, we've been saying Potapenko for weeks, but it's actually Potapiko. He changed the pronunciation on everyone in training camp. Potapiko. Brandon leans in, tripped up, and foul.
Landed hard, too, did Terrell Brandon. But he's a tough little guy. Watch Brandon turn the corner. He sees daylight and gets the trick from Ike Austin. Sends him to the floor, but also to the free throw line.
Ike Austin's first foul. Another change for the Cavaliers. Bobby Phils goes to the bench, and former Florida State off guard. Bob Sura checks in. Sura much improved here in his second year with the Cavaliers. Came out of Florida State, the all-time leading scorer for the Seminoles. And there's a good look at Bobby Sura, who spent the summer in Cleveland working with former Heat head coach, current Cavalier assistant Ronnie Rothstein.
Eric, there's a guy who shoots it better than 50% from three-point land. At 52, only 53% from the free throw line. Now, he has a little different stroke from the line than he does from three-point range. He actually follows through better from the distance shot.
Marley, a corner triple, and the rebound down to Bobby Sura. Sura and Marley, close friends when they played together here last season.
Sura is also a guy who can take it coast to coast and finish with gusto at the hoop.
He had a resounding slam dunk against the Clippers Sunday night. Threw it down on Outlaw and Rodney Rogers. Potapiko misses the rolling hook. P.J. Brown with his 4th rebound. The Heat leading by 7. 2:38 left in the first, and Hardaway tosses in a triple. The first three-pointer tonight for the team that leads the league in threes. Their 160th triple of the season, which averages out to about 8 a game.
Eric, the Heat on pace right now for probably a 100-point game.
And this 10-point lead is their largest so far in the quarter. That foul against P.J. Brown. Brown picks up his first, 4th against the Heat, and a timeout to Miami. The Road Warriors up 10. With Dave Lamont and Dr. Jack, I'm Eric Reed. Welcome back to Gund Arena here in Cleveland, where the Heat have started off very well tonight.
We talked about the value of the fast break opportunities. The Heat already have 6 fast break points. The Cavs don't even have a fast break attempt.
Less than 2 minutes remaining.
We are inside 2 minutes here in the opening quarter.
PJ wants it against Danny Ferry. He can take him.
Timmy Hardaway back in
that's
Brown
great play.
against Danny Ferry. Off the glass and rebounded by Ferry. You liked Hardaway going back into Brown the second time.
Yeah, that's terrific, Eric. That keeps everybody focused in the game.
Morning leads the Heat in scoring tonight with 8, but he's on the bench with 2 fouls. And Chris Mills, dangerous along the edges. The fourth-year man from Arizona with 5 here in the first quarter for the Cavaliers.
You have to keep your eye on Mills because he can shoot it just like that.
Nolan Fine has a whistle underneath. And this one is against Danny Ferry, his first of the night. That is the 5th team foul on Cleveland, puts them over the limit and the Heat into the bonus. So Ike Austin will go to the line for 2.
Ike Austin improving his free throw percentage, Eric. He was hanging around 50%. He's got it up to 62.5 so right now.
Come on, Ike. Get it up, Ike. Come on, baby.
Keith Askins coming on. He'll sit P.J. Brown down. Keith started the Chicago game for the injured Danilovic. Jack, I asked Pat Riley the other day what pleased him most about the win in Chicago. He thought about it for a second and then said, Ike Austin, Vashawn Leonard, and Gary Grant changed the game in our direction in the second quarter.
Yeah, I thought that Vashawn had a huge game, Eric. Was aggressive with his offense for the first time this season.
And Riley loved Vashawn's defense. Said V graded out extremely high on the defensive end. Miami 8 of 8 at the foul line and leading by 10. And Danny Ferry knocking one in from the corner, and that cuts the Heat lead to 8.
That's his game. Open up enough space for him to shoot the jumper, and he'll hit them with consistency.
We are in the final minute of this first quarter here in Cleveland.
Going to get to Austin at the post against Potapenko.
Shot clock winds down. Here's Ike trying to go up and under. Instead goes over, but the jumper rolls off. And Bobby Sura. He can play either guard position. Austin cuts Sura off. Danilovic took a spill. And this foul will go against Ike Austin. So the Heat centers each picking up 2 fouls here in the first. Morning with 2, and now Ike has a pair.
Well, this is where they miss Eddie Pinckney. Watch Sura on the penetration. You see Ike pop out, but not being planted, so he does draw the foul. That's a good call.
Bobby Sura shooting just 53% at the foul line this year.
Incredible. 52 from three-point land, 53 from the line. That seems impossible.
Sura averaging just under 10 points a game. Well, the Heat lead is 7. We wind down here in the first quarter. Cavaliers have won 7 of their 10 home games so far.
Going to set a screen roll. Askins and Hardaway.
Timmy on the crossover, and Brandon from behind picks up the foul. So Terrell Brandon's had a rough first quarter, Jack. He's got 2 fouls, and all 4 of his points from the foul line. He has missed all 5 of his shots from the field.
Brandon will knock it down if you give him room, but here you see over the top. He gets ball, but he had to have part of Timmy's shoulder in going for that play.
Tim Hardaway has made all 3 of his foul shots. P.J. Brown comes in on to protect Ike Austin, who has a pair of fouls, so Ike will go to the bench.
That's the value of P.J. Brown. He can defend almost any position on the floor. And I'm not sure he can't defend point guards too, but Coach Riley is satisfied with him defending any of the other positions.
Well, Miami's foul shooting really improving. Miami up 9. Cavaliers looking for the last shot here in the first. Brandon throws it up, and it bounces off. So Terrell Brandon misses all 6 of his shots in the first quarter, and the Heat go 10 of 10 at the foul line and take a 9-point lead into the second period.
Terrific execution at both ends of the floor by the Miami Heat.
Gotta love the roomy seats here at Gund Arena. Those are actually adults. Very big seats here at Gund. Miami leads it by 9 through 1 quarter of play. The Heat playing suffocating defense. Cleveland just 29% in the first quarter on 5 out of 17. Now, Miami Heat basketball is brought to you in part here on Sunshine Network by Hydron Technologies. Call 1-800-4HYDRON. Tim Hardaway with 7 points. Alonzo Mourning with 8, and rock solid defense for the Heat here in Cleveland so far as we start the second period.
And good offense too, Eric. I commented earlier, on pace for a 100-point game.
Patopico trapped inside. Cavs rotated out to Sura. B.J. Brown battling Patopico, and Brown able to clear the path for Hardaway. Sasha sizes one up. Bobby Sura with a rebound. Bobby Sura, the 17th pick in the draft 2 years ago. One-time backcourt mate of both Sam Cassell and Charlie Ward at Florida State. Patopico on the scoop, came up short. And the Cavaliers are now 5 for 19 from the field.
Once again, great weak side help by the Heat.
And Marley on the drive was fouled by Antonio Lang. You know, it's Sura and Antonio Lang, 2 young players the Cavaliers wanted to give more time to, and 2 of the reasons why they did not tender Marley a new contract after last season.
You see Dan Marley come to a stop, show the ball, and then put it on the floor. I like to see Marley do that rather than settle for the perimeter jumper. Makes him a much more effective player because he can make the pass off the dribble if the defense jumps at him.
B.J. Brown comes out. Mourning is back in the game, and Gary Grant runs the point for Tim Hardaway right now. We're a minute into the second quarter. Danilovic on the drive against Phils. Open man is Grant from three-point land. And Bobby Sura settles under another rebound. He already has 4 boards for the Cavs. Heat up by 9 as Sura comes baseline and draws another foul.
I think that's from Gary Grant. Yes, Sura on a good crossover dribble right there. Gets by Gary Grant, and Mourning comes. But the foul is called on Grant, fortunately for the Heat.
So, of course, with 2 fouls.
Sura has a game, Eric. He has a very strong drive to the basket, and he's a big threat from the edges and passes the ball very well.
Heat switch on the pick and roll, which puts Grant on Antonio Lang, the former Duke Blue Devil. Fills a wide open triple. And the long rebound taken by Sura, and he is fouled by Keith Askins. And the Cavaliers, as you suggested, Jack, pick and roll with the floor spread, found an open man.
Well, they run it. Coach Riley said before the game we might see 40 to 50 of those in the game tonight, and I think that's what you'll see. They're very good at executing that play.
And
another
here
look
we see
at
it again.
same thing. The Heat switch it.
Well, Antonio Lang, a second-year man, started his career with the Phoenix Suns, and he is called for the offensive foul. Second foul on Antonio Lang.
Well, here's the play that results in an open shot from the corner. Can't get it. Ball loose. Askins couldn't keep the handle. But now it's the Heat ball. And have a chance to up this lead. Haven't scored in this second period.
And we've played nearly 2 minutes of this second quarter. Miami's lead still at 9. Marley on the entry to Mourning turns against Patopico, who draws a hard foul. Patopico's first. And that is the second team foul on the Cavaliers. So Patopico will come out. He's at a right skate, and Tyrone Hill is back.
Now what happens on this play? Mourning sets a back pick. The forward runs off him, and then when the defense sags, Zoe just ducks into the lane, gets the ball in great position. The Heat executing very well in their half-court offense and getting enough fast breaks to keep the Cavs from really settling in at the defensive end. Let's look at that play again. There goes the cutter, which was Danilovic. And then Zoe getting in the lane and drawing the foul from Big Vitali.
And Vashawn Leonard earning some more playing time with his strong outing in Chicago. Comes on for the Silver Fox, Sasha Danilovic.
Sasha, when he learns what that means, he won't like that.
We already teased him about it, so nothing he hasn't heard. The Heat have made all 12 of their free throws. They lead it by 11, which is their biggest lead so far in this offensive-oriented first half.
Heat doing a lot of switching on screens to stay up on the perimeter shooters. This is great defense.
With 2 to shoot, a long bomb by Bobby Sura, protected by Keith Askins. 9.5 left in this first half. Miami in front, 27-16. And another offensive foul called on Mourning for setting the screen, and so complaining that Michael Smith underneath did not make the call, and that Jack Nees out top did. But either way, it's the 3rd foul on Mourning. That's unfortunate because he's had his way with the exception of the fouls.
Coach Riley is protesting vigorously to Jack Nees on that call. Jack Nees called it from up top.
So those 3rd foul coming at 9:20 left here in the second quarter. And the Heat up 11. Antonio Lang, one-time roommate of Grant Hill at Duke. Tyrone Hill came up short on about a 5-foot shot. He put it at about 3 feet.
Eric, we keep talking about the quality of the Heat defense, and I say from time to time, this is the best the Heat has shown this year. It keeps improving.
Cavaliers, Jack, been able to make just 5 shots in 22 attempts. And we're already 3 minutes into the second quarter. Austin hustling to the block, sending it out to Dan Marley. Back to Ike. Beautiful play.
Oh, no.
Beautifully done.
This is clinic-type execution.
And Miami's lead has now grown to 13. Biggest bulge first half for the Heat. And that prompts Mike Fratello into the 22nd timeout for the Cavaliers.
Let's take a look at that screen, that offensive foul that's called on Alonzo Mourning. Zoe setting the baseline screen on the right side. Let's see, does he move? Yes. See, that's a good call. He has to stay planted. Let his teammate use him. He does not have to move anymore to help the teammate get open. The responsibility of getting open is on his teammate. That's a good call.
So Zoe will have to sit down and probably watch the remainder of the first half from right there. Jack, the Heat defense been suffocating tonight. You know what you like so much about Miami's play? It's methodical and businesslike night after night.
Yeah, it's the same every night, Eric. They throw in a few wrinkles on occasion. Look at this from the weak side, Ike Austin.
And Thunder Dan right down the middle after the Cavalier turnover. The Heat by 13, 8:20 left. In the first half, Cleveland already with 6 turnovers and only 5 made field goals. Riley directing the traffic. Ike Austin looking around and firing. And it bounds off to Bobby Sura. Already 6 rebounds for Sura. Bobby Phils tees one up. And Vashawn Leonard boxing out for the rebound. Brick City for the Cavs. And that is a kick on Bobby Sura. Probably about 10,000 people in the house tonight, and you haven't heard a peep from them. Well, the Heat back at home Saturday afternoon at 1 to take on the Toronto Raptors. Take advantage of the 4-ticket family plan. Get 4 upper-level seats for $40 with the opportunity to buy 2 extra tickets at $10 each. Plus, you just saw kids 14 and under receive the growth chart featuring Tim Hardaway, sponsored by Health South.
Oh, that's terrific.
Sean Leonard coming hard on the drive.
Yes, indeed.
And the foul is on Chris Mills.
Eric, 2 weeks ago, Sean Leonard would have turned his back and passed that ball out. This time, when the defense gets up on him, he puts it on the floor, gets to the hoop. Now, he's a great free throw shooter. He's 2 for 2 for the season. The 2 against Chicago were his first of the year. But he's a 90% shooter.
And you're really happy for any success Sean Leonard enjoys, because you know how hard he works with Heat assistant coach Stan Van Gundy, among others. Not easy to stay sharp and ready when you know your minutes might not be there night to night, but V has been able to do that.
Well, Eric, that's the responsibility of players who stay on the bench. You've got to be ready, because invariably your time comes. A little flat on that free throw. That last free throw, not enough arc on it for Vashawn.
First miss of the night at the foul line for the Heat. Miami had hit on their first 13 of the night. Shot clock already at 6. Tyrone Hill against Austin. Ike gobbled up the shot, but will be called for his 3rd personal foul.
Well, this is a bit of a problem for the Heat because their big guys are not in large supply.
We may see Mark Strickland before the night's out, but for now, P.J. Brown will come back. Jack, the Heat defense just swallowing up Cleveland here in the first half. Just 5 baskets for the Cavs, and they have missed all 5 of their shots through this scoreless second quarter for Cleveland with 7:20 left in it.
Yeah, that's what good defense does, Eric. It limits your opportunities to score, to get good shots, and if you're not hitting the tough ones, you don't get any points. Simple as that. The Heat make you earn every opportunity from the field.
A high bouncer for Hill. He gets both. Tyrone with 4 points. Cavs are 7 of 8 at the line.
Once again, you've got to watch the Cavs trap. They're pretty good with it. The Heat seem to have the answer.
Dan Marley looking for his first points of this game. Dan has missed all 4 of his shots. Pick and roll with PJ. Jump hook.
Excellent.
Right down the well.
Excellent. PJ slipped the screen. Marley found him with the pass. PJ with the catch and the finish under very good control.
Second time the Heat lead by 14. P.J. Brown now has 6 points to go with 4 boards.
Well, hard to improve on the Heat performance tonight, Eric.
Brandon on the drive, and the foul is against Vashawn Leonard was called on that foul. Meanwhile, the Cavaliers take a timeout. They need to get something going on the offensive end, shooting just 22% with 6:43 left in the second quarter. 6:43 left, second quarter. Cavaliers still looking for their first basket of the second quarter. They're 0 for 6, just a couple of free throws in the period for Cleveland. Mills gets one, a triple for Mills. He's been their only reliable scorer so far tonight. He's got 8 for Cleveland.
And Pat Riley signaling to Keith Askins, don't leave Mills to double team.
P.J. Brown working on Tyrone Hill, draws 2 defenders. Leonard fires a triple.
Oh my.
Sean Leonard looks smooth stroking home the 3-pointer from downtown. He has 4, and Miami's lead for the 3rd time in the quarter is 14.
Riley calling just about every action at both ends of the floor. He is so into this game.
I don't think he's used his seat, not even once tonight.
That's a good-looking sport coat the coach is wearing, and we're getting a very good look at it.
Yes, we have been tied to our monitors. 5:45 remaining first half. The Cavaliers with just 6 baskets from the field in 24 attempts. That's 25%. Cleveland has had some low-scoring games. Matter of fact, they're the 3rd lowest-scoring team in the league, averaging just 88 points a night. Bobby Sir on the baseline. Mills again. So Chris Mills in double figures with 10 here in the first half. And he's done it on 4 for 6 shooting.
It took 4 passes to finally get Mills or anybody into shooting position.
Askins open out of the corner. And the rebound to the one-handed Tyrone Hill on the clutch. Tyrone Hill, hard-working board man. Here's Brandon, and it rims out. Hill again. Tyrone Hill on both ends. Hill now has 6. The Heat lead is 10.
One of the few times the Heat yielded rebounding position at their defensive board.
Harry Grant got to the lane. Terrell Brandon from behind reached in. But the foul is on Tyrone Hill. That's a break for Cleveland because Brandon has 2. That's the first on Hill. 4th on the Cavaliers as Danny Ferry comes back for Cleveland. And
Sasha gets Dan Marley a break. First time Marley's been out of the game, Errol.
And Tyrone Hill leaves for the Cavs. Talking to Dan Marley last couple of days, he expected he would return as a member of the Cavaliers. That's the feeling he had after his outstanding first-round playoff series. Marley and Brandon, the only two Cavs that performed well in that 3-game sweep by the Knicks. Matter of fact, Thunder Dan averaged 17 a game in that series, but the Cavs decided not to re-sign him.
Well, they plan to go with their youth. Give Sura and Antonio Lang an opportunity to play. And they have a ton of first-round draft picks lined up, too, Eric.
And some extra cap money to spend on free agents this year. They also have the first-round pick of the Phoenix Suns this season. Bobby Phills has the triple bounce off. Cleveland 3 of 11 from three-point land here in the first half.
And not a lot of good looks from there. Mills has had a couple, but he's about the only one. Oh, PJ against Danny Ferry.
PJ wants it and gets it on the block. Draws double coverage and a nice steal from Chris Mills. Ahead for Sura. Goes all the way and missed the dunk. Keith Askins supplying resistance. Leonard out to Sasha. Keith Askins says, not on me, Sura. Oh, beautiful block by Chris Mills. Taking a dunk away from PJ Brown. So the defenses are battling well.
Well, you knew that going in. These are two great defensive teams. Watch Bobby Sura going to the hoop. Askins challenging the shot. Keith got a piece of it.
Tim Hardaway back. Grant goes to the bench. He'd have 10 left on the shot clock. Brown made a tough catch.
So they go with it.
Leonard jacks one up. This is Brandon. Ahead for Sura. Under 4 minutes left. First quarter. Heat lead by 12. Cavaliers led just once at 3-0. And the Heat responded with 10 unanswered points. Open man is Phills. Heat rotate to him. Mills with 5 to shoot. Lays it in.
PJ Brown in good position, but the referees ruled that he's too far under the hoop to get a charge call.
13 points for Chris Mills on 5 for 7 shooting. And the Cavaliers again within 10. Timmy for 3. And Bobby Sura, well, he's a good rebounder for a guard. 7 boards for Sura here in the first half. Sura's pass right through the hands of Terrell Brandon. The 7th Cleveland turnover this first half.
And you could read Sura's lips. My fault, he said. And he's right. The pass was on target, but too hard. Too much velocity for that distance.
Dan Marley's rest was short. He is back in. Keith Askins sits down, and the Heat will use their timeout. Just under 3 minutes left in this defensive-oriented first half. The Heat leading it by 10. Heat led by 9 after 1 quarter, leading by 10 as we close down here in the second period at Gund Arena in downtown Cleveland. And coming up at the half, Dave Lamont will chat with one of the all-time great backcourt stars for the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. He's now the director of Community and Business Development, Austin Carr. Dave will also check the Gatorade scoreboard, which includes tonight's game against the Knicks and the Washington Bullets. We'll have stats and highlights as well. And don't forget, the road trip wraps up tomorrow night at the new arena in Philadelphia. The Sixers and the Heat. The pregame at 7:30 and the tip at 8.
Tim Hardaway has Chris Mills. He can beat him.
You see the backcourt scoring. Brandon and Phills combined have gone 0 for 12. Brandon 0 for 7. Phills has missed all 5. Comes charging in, and Danilovic picks up the foul.
Well, both teams playing with small lineups. The Heat almost out of necessity with Mourning and Ike Austin both nursing 3 personal fouls. And you saw strong drive to the hoop by Bobby Phills. Great athletic body on this guy.
Bobby Phills picking up his first point of the night. Phills, a second-round pick by the Bucks in '91, spent most of his first year in the CBA. Comes in off his best season average, just under 15 a game last year, and was second-team all-defense.
Now here again, you've got to be careful with the ball. Make sure you get it into the front court. And And the Heat seem to be doing a good job with that tonight, Eric.
Good free throw shooting tonight. Cavs are 9 for 10. Miami 15 of 16. It's the first time in a while the Cavs have knocked Miami's lead to single figures. It's at 8. 5 on the shot clock. Marley got to hurry. Marley gets it off in time, and that is a shot clock violation. It did not hit the rim, and the Cavalier defense digging in. Both clubs really struggling with their shooting. The Cavs are 9 for 30. The Heat are 10 for 30.
And among the guards, Eric, the Heat are scoring well, but the Cavs are 0 for 15. Would you believe that?
Bobby Sura guarded by Vashawn Leonard. Took away baseline. Help from Brown. Sura splits it and slams it.
Oh, that's good play.
A spectacular maneuver by Bobby Sura, his first field goal.
Yeah, Sura got just enough space between the defenders to split him and take it all the way home. He's strong with that.
Lead is now 6. Marley throws it away. For the Cavs on their best run of the night. Bobby Sura again.
Pat Riley's going to take a 20-second timeout.
20-second timeout, Miami.
Cavaliers on a 15-5 run.
Pat Riley talking very pointedly at his squad there. He doesn't like to see the game thrown away. Look at Sura. Goes right between the two defenders and then throws it down. And then this one. Sura, a little finger roll, gets that one to go down in a rim rattler. Sura has been the catalyst to bring the Cavs back to within reach.
And Jack, the Heat defense has now gone into a deep freeze. Miami just 3 of 12 here in the second quarter from the field, and it has not helped the Heat's cause. And Alonzo Mourning's been missing in the fray. He picked up his 3rd foul with 9:20 left in the second quarter, and he's been on the bench ever since.
Yeah, and what it means is that the Heat does not have a scoring presence in the basket area. Everything pretty much has to come from the perimeter.
And at 20 left, second period. Heat lead by 4. It was as big as a 14-point lead. And Marley draws a double in the post from Ferry. Throws it away again. Fills. Chased by Leonard. Stuffs it home. So the Cavs getting great energy off their defense. It is now a 17-5 run.
You know you're going to get that from the Cavs. They double the post very well, and they're playing the passing lanes to perfection right now.
Hardaway, a quick 3. Bottom of the well for Timmy.
That quiets the crowd.
And actually just a 2-pointer for Tim Hardaway, who has 9 points in this game. Heat up 4, 43 seconds left here in the first half.
Sura wants to take it to the hoop against Danilovic.
This is Brandon inside the arc. Loose ball taken down by Phils. Fresh shot clock now for Cleveland. Mike Fratello directing traffic from his bench. Sura threw it away. 2-on-1. Sasha has it stripped by Brandon.
Oh, that's a great play.
Talk about not giving up on a play.
Yes, indeed. These guys, that's why they're both great defensive teams, Eric. Terrell Brandon got caught on a 2-on-1. Watch this play. That ball gets popped from behind by Danilovic. There's the pass. Sasha taking it to the hoop. Brilliant play by Brandon.
Oh, it was 2-on-1, and Brandon able to cover both men. 2 hard-nosed defensive teams going after one another tonight.
Heat spreading the floor.
Last shot of the half. Hardaway comes up short, and that will end this first half. And the Cavaliers end the half with a 17-7 run. What was a 14-point lead, only 4 halfway through, and as expected, low-scoring affair here in Cleveland.
So we've got a hot game going here, Eric. You see the field goal percentages are certainly not what either team is accustomed to, but neither team plays against the defense that they're facing tonight very often.
Well, you said first team to 80 wins. We may have to play a couple overtimes to get to 80 points tonight. Nothing new for the Cavaliers. Last 9 games, they've been able to hold teams under 77 points a game. Your individual scoring leaders, Alonzo pacing Miami with 10. And for the Cavaliers, Chris Mills with a dozen on 5 for 7 shooting. Two players that have struggled, Terrell Brandon 0 for 8, Dan Marley 0 for 5. And fans, add this to your holiday gift list, the 12-game ticket plan called the Heat Gift Pack. You can buy tickets to 12 games for $180. Ticket manager standing by right now at 305-577-4328. And as we open up this third quarter, Terrell Brandon missing his 9th shot of the night. And here's more on that 12-game ticket plan featuring games against the Bulls, Lakers, Magic, and New York Knicks. 12 games for $180. Too good a deal to pass up. And you could seize the opportunity right now calling those Heat ticket managers at 305-577-HEAT. P.J. Brown short on the hook. And the second half starting much like the first half ended for Miami.
Good look for P.J. Just didn't finish that. He had about a 6-foot shot.
Bobby Phills, both thoughts. Bobby Phills now has 6 points to go along with 5 assists. And the Cavaliers are down by just 2. Miami held to 14 points in the second quarter on 4 for 15 shooting. And Tyrone Hill able to hold off P.J. Brown for that rebound. So the Heat led by 14 several times in the first half. In a struggle now.
Cavs a little bit more aggressive going to the board in this half.
By the way, Brandon is now 0 for 10. Brandon came into the game averaging 19 points. Mills short. Danilovic on the rebound.
Eric, you always worry about a great shooter, and I consider Brandon one. When he's had a bad first half, Zoe getting fouled on that one. Good look ahead pass. Watch Mourning beating his defender down the floor. And Hardaway, as always, looking ahead. That's a great pass by Hardaway.
Chris Mills picking up his second foul. As Zoe takes aim. Dips and flips. And it rolls off.
Eric, we talked in the first period about the Heat getting out and running. They had 6 fast break points at the end of the first period, and at the end of the half, that was still all they had, 6. So they didn't get any in the second period.
Miami 16 of 18 at the foul line tonight, leading it by 3. And Marley against Bobby Phills. That's a blue-collar battle. Mourning jumps out. Mark West goes cross-court over Danilovic's head. Mills over Mourning. How about that?
Yeah, strong finish. Chris Mills playing an outstanding game tonight for the Cavs.
Indeed, 14 points, which is game high on 6 for 9 shooting. Under 10 minutes left, third quarter. Heat by 1. And Mourning's pass deflected, it's stolen, and then P.J. Brown stole it back, and a loose ball foul will be charged against P.J. Brown.
Now Zoe had the easy pass right back out to Tim Hardaway, but tried to throw it cross court, and it got stolen. Look at this. You see Hardaway at the top of your screen, and then Brandon getting in the passing lane.
Second foul on Brown, and does this one have struggle written all over it, or what? 9:37 left, third quarter. Cavaliers looking for their first lead since it was 3-0. West denied. Heat hold on to their 1-point advantage. Miami came into this game with a 2-game advantage over the New York Knicks in the Atlantic Division. Danilovic threw it away. Phills over Marley. And the Cavaliers do take their first lead since their first field goal of the game put them in front 3-0.
Again, turnovers, Eric. Turnovers trying to throw balls off balance to the weak side, and the Cavs are picking those off with regularity. 9
turnovers now for the Heat. Hardaway's sky hook comes up short. Ball batted out, taken by Timmy for the runner. That rattles down. 11 for Hardaway, and Miami seesaws back in front.
Another screen and roll play.
Bobby Phils tees it up. Danilovic grabbing the rebound. Sasha with 3 rebounds in this game. Dan Marley 0 for 5 from the field tonight and scoreless. Brown from the wing.
That's good. That's good for PJ. Pop out after the screen, face the basket from about 12 feet, knock it down.
8 points in this one for PJ. Miami in front by 3 with 8 minutes left in the third. Heat at Philadelphia tomorrow night, an 8 p.m. tip. A 7:30 pregame here on Sunshine Network. Miami back at home Saturday at 1 against the Toronto Raptors on Family Day. We'll tell you more about that in a moment. Tyrone Hill wheeling in for the hook.
Yeah, nice left-hander by Tyrone.
Tyrone averaging 12 a game, has 8. Miami's lead again, just 1. Warning against West. Goes out of the double. 7 on the shot clock. Brown's pass deflected. The Cavalier defense wreaking havoc. And turnovers mounting for Miami. Heat now with 10 turnovers and just 13 field goals.
The key there is they only had 2 at the end of the first period.
Shot clock at 6. Phils pulls in. Phils gets it back. And Danilovic on the end line, unable to keep it in. The Cavaliers will keep possession with just under 7 minutes left in the third quarter. And this is mounting up to quite the tug of war. I'm out to Mike Fratello's Cavs. He's smiling, but this has been anything but pleasant.
It's limbo time. Stand up, limbo.
There's your score with just under 7 minutes left. Third quarter, this defensive struggle. Tonight's official attendance here in Cleveland as you look at your Publix leaders. Let's go to that first. The hottest clubs in the league brought to you by Publix Supermarkets. The Utah Jazz with 10 straight. The Heat and Rockets 9-1 over the last 10. So back we go to this defensive encounter. Each club struggling on the offensive end. At that timeout, Pat Riley warning his team about the danger of those cross-court passes against the double teams. Mourning comes up with a block shot.
Great stop by Mourning. Pat Riley says every time we throw cross-court out of the double team, we turn it over. We can't do that.
And he was emphatic about making that point. Mourning underneath and a push inside on the Cavaliers. The Heat have to regroup. Mark West foul. That's his 3rd foul.
You see the ball go inside to Zoe. No double team, so he should take him. But Mark West is not going to let him get into the lane and draws the foul.
Heat led by as much as 14 in the second quarter. But the Cavaliers battled back to make it just a 4-point Miami lead at the half. Cleveland has actually gone in front a couple of times by 1 here in the third quarter. It goes cross court for Sasha in the corner for Marley's 3, and he knocks down his first jumper on his 6th attempt. It's a triple, and Miami's lead grows to 4.
Well, that time Zoe did throw cross court, but got it through, and Marley got the resultant 3-point opportunity.
Bobby Phils down the middle.
Drive.
Phils has 6 in the quarter, 10 for the game. Bobby Phils rock solid. He's in his 6th year at a Southern University. Will turn 27 years of age later this month.
No double on Zoe.
Goes right to the well for the running hook, and again he goes down, and again it's Mark West picking up the foul. So West has 4, and the Cavaliers have 4 with 5:35 left in the third quarter.
Yeah, as I mentioned early in the game, Zoe can beat almost any big man. Once he puts it on the floor, he waits and then drives it across the lane. You see Mark West making 1 foot move, but that's all. I'm not sure about the foul call on that. Mark West isn't sure either. And Mike Fratello was trying to plead his big defender's case to no avail.
Well, Mark West will sit down. Danny Ferry comes back. West leaves the game with 2 points, scored back in the first quarter. Danny Ferry with just 2 points in 14 first half minutes. On the way, the Knicks in the third quarter out in front of Washington, 53-46. Heat lead the Knicks by 2 in the Atlantic Division. Dozen points for Mourning, 17 of 20 free throw shooting for Miami.
Brandon still looking for his first field goal.
It's hard to believe. On his 11th shot, yes, a triple for Terrell Brandon. So both Brandon and Marley get on the board after struggling through the first half. Well, the ball game is now tied at 48 with just over 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Brandon with a steal. Sloppy pass by Danilovic. Brandon off to Mills. Got the bucket and a foul. It's on Danilovic. So the turnover is proving to be very costly to the Heat here in the third quarter especially.
Well, Sasha gave that ball away, almost a direct pass to Brandon. And then as Phils got the dish from Brandon, or excuse me, Mills got the dish, Sasha committed the foul on him as well.
Chris Mills now has 17 points. 7 for 10 shooting from the field for Mills. Cavaliers by 3, which matches their initial lead of this game. Here's Hardaway. Hits a triple. Tim Hardaway with his second three-pointer of the game. He's got 14 points on the night. And the Heat just that quickly even it back at 51.
That time a quick double on Zoe. Good pass work by the Heat.
Heat just 4 of 15 from downtown with their three-point shooting tonight. 6 on the shot clock. Heat scrambled to the ball. Hill lost it out of bounds, but the Cavaliers will get a chance to inbound with 3 seconds left on the 24. And Vashawn Leonard will come back. Sasha Danilovic goes to the bench. Just 4 points for Sasha tonight. They came back in the first quarter.
And some costly turnovers from Sasha as well. I think that's what brought the substitution to that.
Here's Brandon, beats the shot clock, but comes up short, and Chris Mills hustles for the rebound.
Nobody went for it for the Heat.
Right now, the Cavaliers appear to be playing with more energy than Miami. 4 minutes left here in the third quarter. Ball game tied at 51. Mills from Ferry, and Marley knocked it away, came up with a steal. 9th turnover against Cleveland. Tim Hardaway trying to shake past Brandon. And a holding foul on the Cavaliers. It is against Terrell Brandon. That is number 3 on the first-time All-Star from a year ago. Cavaliers are now over the limit. And that will bring Bobby Sura back into the game. Brandon goes to the bench.
Well, this will certainly not benefit Mike Fratello's defense. If Sura is going to defend Hardaway,
and a technical foul, Jack, just been assessed to Terrell Brandon by Nolan Fine.
And a technical foul on number 1, Terrell Brandon.
Well, Brandon had protested right from the beginning of the game on the foul calls against Hardaway. But Timmy can go by Brandon, and he can go by Bobby Phils. And Bobby Sura. So we'll see who the matchup is.
Well, foul shooting helped the Heat at Chicago. Miami was 18 for 23 from the line on Saturday. They are 18 for 21 as Hardaway sets for 2 more. Just under 4 minutes left here in the third quarter. Miami leads it 53-51. Hardaway now has 16 points in this one. Hardaway 7 of 7 from the foul line as he rattled that one in. Well, the Heat lead by 3. Mike Fratello and Pat Riley engaged in just another one of their many battles.
Illegal defense.
Illegal defense against the Heat. This is their first warning of the night. And it's against Mourning.
It's a warning on Miami.
So the warning for the illegal defense.
I saw Zoe above the free throw line. I don't know why nobody understands that.
Other than Nolan Fine. Sura picks up his dribble.
So on this screen and roll, they're staying with their own man. Now the switch.
Sura picks it up again on Marley. Shot clock at 9. Ferry launches and hits. Danny Ferry.
He won't beat you off the dribble, but he gets enough space to stop and pull up for that jumper, and he's an unerring jump shooter.
Danny Ferry has finally emerged as a solid NBA player. A.J. Brown's drive does not work out well. He dribbled it off his body out of bounds. The 12th Heat turnover.
PJ should have the ability to score down low against Ferry. But Ferry, while lacking quickness, is a very smart defender.
3 minutes left in the third. Miami leads by 1. Danny Ferry, a corner jumper. And Deshaun Leonard left his feet well for the rebound. Rather sluggish offensive game as Timmy triples up. A three-bagger for Tim Hardaway, his third triple of the night. And Hardaway heating up right in the nick of time. He has 20, and Miami's up by 4. That's the 5th three-pointer tonight for the Heat.
Well, it's going to be a tough matchup for Sura.
Wow,
oh, that's a good play. Unsuccessful, however.
2:20 left in the third.
Now the Heat running screen and roll.
Tim Hardaway with 11 third-quarter points. E.J. Brown off the back of the iron. Bobby Sura down with his 8th rebound tonight. Sura's season-high 13 rebounds in a game against Vancouver. Mills draws double coverage. That leaves Ferry open. And the tip-in from Tyrone Hill.
Alonzo Mourning actually tipped that ball in.
Now Pat Riley wants a timeout with 1:46 left in this struggle we call the third quarter.
From your seats, it's basketball head time. Catch the ball.
Last couple of years, the Heat have won 3 of 4 against the Cavaliers. It won't be easy either way it falls tonight. Miami leads by 2, winding down here in the third from Gund Arena in Cleveland. I'm Eric Reed along with Jack Ramsey and Dave Lamont. Happy to have you with us, and wanted to remind you that tickets are available for this year's Outback Bowl featuring the Wolverines of Michigan against the Alabama Crimson Tide. It's New Year's Day in Tampa, and you can call your local Ticketmaster now for your seats to the Outback Bowl. And don't forget, the Heat are back at home Saturday afternoon, a 1 o'clock tip against the Toronto Raptors. And good seats are still available. We'll give you the details about Family Day on Saturday afternoon. Morning, tight open the end line. Working against Hill, spinning back, comes up short on the runner. And Chris Mills in a scrap, able to protect the rebound. Alonzo Mourning just 2 field goals in 5 tries tonight. 8 of his 12 points have come from the foul line. Sean Leonard still in the game as the Heat's off guard. Hardaway leads the Heat with 20 points tonight. 11 in this quarter, but Bobby Sura posted him up and took advantage with his height.
Yeah, Sura, a very good low post player. Uses his body well. Actually took the ball right through Tim Hardaway.
Bobby Sura now has 7 points to go with 8 rebounds. We are tied at 57. Mourning against Hill, flipping out to Dan Marley for a 3. And that off the body of Tyrone Hill, so the Heat get a break with just under 41 seconds left. Here in the third quarter, the Heat 3-point shooting been erratic tonight. 5 for 17. And Dan Marley struggling to find his way. 1 for 7 from the field. And we got a 2-shot foul upcoming. Yes, the Cavaliers with a foul before the ball was inbounded.
That was Tyrone Hill wrestling against Alonzo Mourning. Let's take a look at the play. Here comes Zoe trying to get across. And if this were football, what would that be? 15 yards? It used to be. Yes, 15 still.
Throw the flag, Jack.
Throw it down. Pace it up.
Zoe has lost his stroke here in the third quarter. He was 6 of 6 in the first half. He is 2 of 5 here in the third quarter.
Zoe hasn't gotten many clean looks at the basket tonight, Eric. Cavs do a great job, as I mentioned at the top, of doubling post guys and getting the ball out of his hands.
Very little offensive rhythm for either group in this one. Tied at 57. Final 30 seconds here in the third quarter.
Again, going to Sura at the post.
Heat don't double, and Sura throws it right to his old friend Dan Marlowe. 10th Cleveland turnover of the game.
Well, the Heat can hold for one. Maybe Sura thought Marlowe was still on his team.
It was Bobby Sura that left Dan Marley and Sasha Danilovic tickets on Sunday night for the Cavs and the Clips. Hardaway ducks in. And off the hands of a Heat player, out of bounds to Cleveland with 3/10 of a second left here in the third, but Nolan Fine is going to go to the table and adjust that figure.
0.7 seconds
And it
remaining.
will go up to 7/10 of a second remaining in the third quarter.
Well, you have time to catch, dribble, and shoot, I think, with this one, Eric. Has to be quick. And the ball should be thrown into the front court if at all possible.
Heat scored just 14 points in the second quarter. They have scored 18 here in the third. This game has slowed to a crawl offensively.
After being on pace to score 100 points in the game with 25, now they're not even going to try.
After 3 quarters of play, the score.
And we'll flip the page to quarter four.
The Miami Heat.
It has been a struggle for both sides, but a game up for grabs as we head to the fourth here in Cleveland, tied at 57. And welcome back to Gund Arena in Cleveland. Attendance tonight, 14,361. And let's get a look at our game summary as we head to the fourth quarter. Tim Hardaway leading the Heat with 20. Chris Mills with 17 for the Cavaliers. Miami has struggled from the field, just 36%. Terrell Brandon has also struggled from the field. The all-star point guard for the Cavaliers, Jack, 7 points on 1 for 12 shooting. It's been evenly played. What will separate these two teams in the final 12 minutes?
I think offensive execution, Eric, obviously will be a big factor. And I think for the Heat to keep their turnovers under very good control. They need good shots. I think if they get the good shots, they should win this game.
And catch exciting college basketball action this weekend on Sunshine, beginning with a women's game between Florida State and Florida. Then 7 o'clock, it's the Gators against the Hatters of Stetson. Then at 9, it's Florida State and Jacksonville. All coming up this Saturday night on Sunshine Network. Marley, Askins, Mourning, Hardaway, and Leonard start the fourth for the Heat. Hardaway over Sura. Book it.
Very good control by Timmy Hardaway. Tim Hardaway is barely 6 feet. And shot that easily over the 6'3" Sura.
Timmy Hardaway. Somebody has to step up for the Heat. And right now it's Timmy with 22. And the Heat lead by 2. The first bucket here in the fourth quarter.
Good D, Marley.
Shot clock at 4. Bobby Sura looking to free himself from Askins. Nice feed for Hill. The reverse missed, and that's a shot clock violation. It never got to the rim.
A good penetration by Sura and the dish, but Tyrone Hill couldn't finish.
Mike Fratello in his 11th season as an NBA head coach, his 4th year with the Cavaliers. Last 2 years he's been the runner-up for Coach of the Year honors. He's gotten the Cavs to the playoffs 3 years in a row, but each year they've been eliminated in the first round and have lost 9 of their 10 playoff games under Fratello.
Good ball movement by the Heat.
Wide open triple, and Keith Askins knocks it down for his first points of the game. And the Heat open up a 5-point lead with their 6th triple of the outing.
And that's what Coach Riley wants from the postman on double teams.
And the Cavaliers take timeout. Just underway here in the fourth quarter, and the Heat have lit the fuse here in Cleveland.
Cavs fans, you know what time it is. Here comes Weber and the Cavs crew with their red-hot slingshots.
Let's look at Alonzo Mourning getting double teamed here. Throws it directly to Hardaway. Hardaway up top, and then swung to the open Keith Askins. That's what the coach wants.
And Miami leads 62 to 57. A 5-point lead, 10.5 minutes to go in the fourth. And that bucket counts, plus the foul. And the foul is on Vashawn Leonard. Tyrone Hill hooking it home in traffic.
Well, that time Mourning switched out to cover the perimeter man. The ball got inside to Hill, who got the score and an attempt coming up at the free throw line.
I remember Tyrone Hill, All-Star 2 years ago, but last season, a November 7th car accident. He bruised his spinal cord and missed 38 games, and he has made a complete recovery, we're happy to say. The Cavaliers get it back. Bobby Sura in the post, finds Hill. And Mourning able to bother Hill on the hook shot. And the Heat dodge a bullet, hold on to a three-point lead. 10-10 left here in the fourth quarter. Heat looking for a 9th straight road win.
Marley wants Ferry one-on-one.
Well, he's got him. Takes him baseline. Flips it. Corner Mourning for a three. And Askins runs down an offensive rebound. A second chance for the Heat offense. Leonard. And Bobby Phils with the rebound. Cavaliers down 3. 9:37 left in the game. Knicks have opened a 13-point lead against the Bullets in New York.
Good help by Leonard.
Chris Mills steps inside the arc. Tyrone Hill missing the putback. And Bobby Sura knocking it out of the hands of Keith Askins, so the Heat get it back. Their three-point lead remains intact.
Well, the Heat doing a lot of adjusting on that last possession by the Cavs. Tyrone Hill coming out of the game and not liking it one bit.
Mark West is back. Tim Hardaway leading the Heat with 22. Mills has 17 for the Cavs. Here's Timmy.
Big hoop.
Kaboom on the three. Tim Hardaway now with 25, and Timmy has hit 4 three-pointers in this game. Well, the Heat lead by 6, and in this game, that feels like a big lead. This is Chris Mills on the move, sending it back to Sura.
Oh,
Wise play by Sura, who felt contact, fired it up, and draws the foul on Vashawn Leonard, and it will be a 3-shot foul because he was behind the arc.
well, that's the rule. Sura looked to me like he ducked into Leonard, but Leonard was on the move to him, so that makes it the proper call. But Sura, not a good free throw shooter. As we look at the play, there's the pitch. There, behind the line. I thought his right foot was on the line.
I think you're right. Made the first free throw. Mark West sits down. Will Brandon is back. Bobby Sura. Remember last March when the Cavaliers came to Miami? Sura had a terrific night. 18 points, 4 steals in that game. Misses the second of 3. Misses 2 of 3, but Brandon sneaks in for the rebound. With the Cavaliers down by 5. 8:33 remaining in the fourth quarter. Gary Grant in the game, giving Hardaway a rest. Sura left his feet and turned it over.
See if he can get a score out of this one.
Leonard drives. Whoa, that's a flagrant foul.
Yes.
And that is very unsportsmanlike by Chris Mills. Basically hogtied Vashawn Leonard, hit him head high. So it'll be 2 shots and the ball for Miami.
Yeah, let's take it. That's a good pass by Gary Grant. And watch Leonard. He gets clotheslined by Chris Mill, who protests his innocence, but there's no question about that.
So with 8:21 left and the Heat up by 5, this could be a key possession. 2 free throws and the ball for Miami. Points for Vashawn tonight. As Mourning and Riley talk it over. And Leonard with a soft touch rolls them both home. Miami is 22 of 27 at the foul line tonight. They have outscored the Cavaliers by 11 points from the free throw stripe.
Let's see what the Heat run here. They usually try to get to Zoe. It'll be Leonard popping out and then into the post man.
And there's another foul on the Leonard pass. Bobby Cerna commits the foul. That's the first of the night on Cerna. Second team foul on the Cavaliers. Deshaun Leonard getting extended minutes for a couple of reasons. He's played 18 minutes tonight. Danilovic a little on the ineffective side and also nursing that strained right calf, which kept him out of the Chicago game Saturday.
Good play. Good play by Zoe. Zoe is pointing to the hoop as if to say, I was taking it to the basket.
Bobby Phills picks up his foul. Third foul on Phills.
Take a look at it. This is Zoe on the move. And the officials ruled that he was fouled before he was in motion.
That was the third team foul on Cleveland. Good move. Morning. How about the thunder dunk over Danny Ferry?
Oh, yes. And Mike Fratello is going to take a timeout and talk it over.
And it will be a 20-second timeout for Mike Fratello and the Cavaliers. Well, this has been such a tight game, Jack. 7:51 left in it. And the Heat have opened up a 9-point lead. And let's take a look at your cruise to the hoop. Brought to you by Norwegian Cruise Lines and the SS Morning.
We talk frequently about Zoe's ability to take it past big guys. And there he goes past Ferry with a thunder dunk.
Now the luxury liner past the ferry.
That's good, Eric. Now Pat Riley talking it over. He wants to be sure of all the defensive assignments. It's a very dangerous shooting team, the Cleveland Cavaliers. And if you can get a 9-point lead at this stage of the game, you've got to make it stand up.
Well, the Heat, winners of 10 of their last 11 games, looking to get 11 games over 500 for the first time in franchise history. A win tonight would get the job done for them in that regard. But a long way to go. 7:45 left here in the fourth. Brandon in traffic finds Tyrone Hill. And a lot of red underneath the hoop. Gary Grant able to come away with it. Grant playing for Tim Hardaway right now. Hardaway leading all scorers tonight with 25. Lonzo Mourning has 14. Top man for the Cavs, Mills with 17. Mourning underneath and called for steps.
As Alonzo caught the ball, Pat Riley in front of us jumped off the floor, hoping Zoe would do the same. There's the back pick by Grant. The high pass to Mourning came down. This is where Riley jumped, but Zoe didn't. Good defense. Good defense.
Well, Brandon getting the bounce. Just his second field goal in 13 attempts.
Gary Grant got over the first screen, and then when Brandon took him back again over it, he got hung on it, and Brandon got the good shot.
Miami's lead is 7, under 7 minutes remaining. In the Morning, double team. Grant, an open look at 3.
That's big, because they would prefer that Gary Grant shoot it than any of the other perimeter players. That time Gary made them pay.
And this is Miami's first double-figure lead of the second half. It's 10 with 6.5 minutes left. Well, Brandon picked the right time to regain his offensive touch. Terrell with 11 points. Miami's lead back to 8. By the way, the Heat with 8 3-pointers in the night's game. And the Heat bench has responded with 18 points. Top man off the bench tonight, Deshaun Leonard with 6. 7 to shoot. Thunder Dan comes up short on the 3. And we get a loose ball foul as Ferry went down. Mourning trying to cover it up and is hit with a technical foul. Well, that's the same way Dennis Rodman was hit with a technical at Toronto. The simple wave of the hand. Meanwhile, Gary Grant tried to talk it over with Jack Neves, put a hand on him, and Jack did not respond well to that.
Now, officials don't like to be touched, especially from the rear. So Zoe picks up the personal and the technical.
Well, Mourning gets his 4th foul with 6 minutes left in the game.
Brandon, the 90% shooter, knocks it down.
NBA's best free throw shooter this year has made all 5 of his attempts on this night. P.J. Brown comes in for the Heat. Alonzo Mourning goes to the bench. Mourning sits with 14 points, 5 rebounds, 4 fouls, and the technical. Well, the Heat lead a moment ago was 10. It is now 7. And the Cavaliers have it with just under 6 minutes left.
Heat needs stops, and they need some offense.
Shot clock at 7. This is Brandon. Grant applying the defense. Great defense. Forced by Brandon. Tipped up by Phils, but it popped out. Boy, the Cavaliers coming very close on that possession.
But the Heat defending that one to perfection.
5:26 remaining in the fourth. The Heat leading at 72-65.
Marley wants it at the post, and there's the double team.
Danny Ferry on the double, and Marley called for traveling. The 14th turnover on Miami gives it back to the Cavaliers with 5:16 left.
Now Mike Fratello has changed up the rotation. Instead of leaving that direct pass receiver open on the ball side, he's taking that pass away and gambling against the cross-court pass.
Ferry sets the screen. Brandon curls around it, and we get a foul. And it is against Dan Marley. That's his first of the night, and the 4th team foul on the Heat. Tim Hardaway will check back now, and Gary Grant goes to the bench. Grant hit a big triple a moment ago and goes to the bench with 5 points. But Timmy Hardaway comes back with a game-high 25. We're down to 5 minutes left in what has been a tenacious defensive battle all night.
Another screen and roll action. Ferry goes to the post on the switch.
Andy Ferry draws double team, finds Hill for the dunk.
Good pass by Ferry, and a slash cut by Hill.
Tyrone Hill with 14 points to go with 11 rebounds, and the Heat lead, once 10 here in the fourth quarter, has been cut to 5. 4.5 minutes left. Hardaway gets by Brandon, outside to Marley, and his triple bounces off. Dan Marley just 1 for 9 shooting tonight. Phils on the move, motors in, comes up short, and Tyrone Hill was out of bounds when he called the timeout. So the Heat get it back with 4:13 left, and Riley checking with his assistants, asking if he has a 20. They said yes, and he takes it.
Well, coach wants to get his team in sync in the half court, Eric. Without Mourning on the floor, they don't have a low post presence, so something good's going to happen from the perimeter, or maybe to post up Tim Hardaway down low. Let's take a look here. Here comes Phils on the drive. You see the collapsing defense. 4 of the 5 players already in the paint there, and Tyrone Hill stepping on the end line to call timeout. Doesn't go.
Folks, don't forget the Heat back at home Saturday afternoon, a 1 o'clock tip-off against the Toronto Raptors, and it is Family Day on that afternoon game. You can purchase 4 tickets in the upper deck for $40 and purchase as many as 6 tickets for $10 each based on availability. Good seats are available, and the kids 12 years of age and under, actually 14 and under, will receive the Tim Hardaway Growth Chart poster. I hope to see you Saturday afternoon, a 1 o'clock start for the Heat and the Raptors. 5-point Miami lead, just over 4 minutes left. Glad you've joined us for the finish of this one. Hardaway almost tossed it away. Keith for 3. Brandon able to bring down the rebound. Well, the Heat offense doesn't get what they want on that trip. Cavaliers down 5.
Cavs will run that screen and roll play. Ferry open to shoot it.
Corner jumper, got it. Danny Ferry with only 6 points, but that was a big one. The Cavaliers down 10 just a few moments ago. Actually, exactly 3 minutes ago, have responded with 7 straight points. P.J. Brown lost the handle. 15 turnovers on Miami. Cavaliers down 3 and have the ball with 3:12 left.
You can bet they'll run some kind of screen and roll. Here it comes.
Danny Ferry from the other corner. And this one pulled down by Vashawn Leonard. Heat led with 6.5 minutes left by 10. They have not scored in about 4 minutes. And Miami will take a timeout.
Coach wants to get Alonzo Mourning back in the game.
So the Heat hold on to their 3-point lead, and you hold on. We'll be right back. Two evenly matched defensive-oriented clubs battling right down to the wire here at Cund Arena in Cleveland. Happy to have you with us as we come down the stretch. I'm Eric Reed along with Jack Ramsey and Dave Lamont. The three of us and all of them will be in Philadelphia tomorrow night. The pregame at 7:30 and the tip at 8. Hope you'll be with us. Allen Iverson and company awaiting the Heat tomorrow night, but the finish awaiting us right here.
So the Heat have Zoe back on the floor. Rashawn Leonard, and Keith Askins. Leonard out of the game now. Hardaway at the post.
Hardaway finds Zoe in a crowd. Lost the ball, got it back. Keith Askins off the springboard for the tip in, and that's a huge play by Keith. And that ends a 7-0 burst for the Cavaliers. Miami's first points in over 3 minutes. Matter of fact, close to 4 minutes.
Curry.
5-point lead, 2:25 left. Mills with 5 to shoot. This is Brandon out of the corner. Got it. Terrell Brandon. He was cold all night. 7 points through 3 quarters and 7 points here in the fourth for Brandon. On 4 for 16 shooting for the game.
Screen and roll. Hardaway and Mourning.
2 minutes 5 seconds to play. Shot clock at 8. So on the drive, off to Brown, and he was not able to make the little jump shot. Down to 1:50 left in a 3-point Heat lead.
Oh, he double dribbled.
They let it go.
He actually did. He dribbled, stopped, and dribbled again.
This is Bobby Phills. Hill is fouled. Alonzo Mourning's 5th foul.
Let's take a look. This is Terrell Brandon there. Stops. Had 2 hands on the ball, folks. Clearly a double dribble, a violation that escaped the eyes of 3 officials. Somehow.
Minute 33 left. And Tyrone Hill missing the first of 2. Hill is just a 64% foul shooter.
Not a good looking shot that time, Eric.
In his 7th year out of Xavier. 3 years with Golden State. This is 4th year with Cleveland. Tyrone with 15 points tonight. He also has 13 rebounds. And Miami's lead, 2 points. With 1:27 left. Down the stretch we come with another heart thumper. And Marley, who's had the cold hand tonight. Mourning runs it down. 5 on the shot clock. Zoe has to hurry. On the turn. And taken down by Chris Mills. The Cavaliers down by 2. 1:05 left.
Heat not getting good opportunities with their possessions.
Terrell Brandon has P.J. Brown on him. This is Ferry. Hardaway defending Danny. 5 on the shot clock. Brandon for 3. And he tosses up an air ball. And Keith Askin, you see him box out. Nobody behind him but Keith making extra certain. So Brandon just 4 of 17 from the field. Way short on his triple. And Jack just 44 seconds left. 2-point lead and possession for Miami.
Yes, and possession, which means the Heat should get 2 to the Cavs 1 if all goes according to plan.
Which it usually doesn't. Hardaway on the lane, banks it up, pops out. Mourning on the tip, doesn't go. And Mike Fratello wants timeout. But before that, Tim Hardaway called for a hold in the backcourt. And Miami over the limit, so these will be free throws down the other end for Cleveland, and a chance to tie the game with the clock stopped at 24.6.
Hardaway the holder. Who is the holdee?
I believe Bobby Phills.
Phills.
Just a 58% free throw shooter.
58% free throw shooter, and the game on the line. Crusher free throws for Bobby Phils. There's Hardaway's drive. He had a good look. Ball doesn't go. And then in an effort to steal it, you see Hardaway commit the foul. Back to Phils at the line.
Got them both. Tie game. And a timeout Miami. Final 25 seconds. A game obviously up for grabs. .6 seconds left. Tied game at 74 here in Cleveland. And it's Heat ball, Jack, and the Cavaliers do have a foul to give.
Yes, they have a foul to give, Eric. I would expect one of two things from Mike Fratello. He may trap the ball right here and gamble for a possession, take the foul if necessary, because he will not have lost anything. Or they may wait till the Heat work the clock down and then foul and only give the Heat a possession out of bounds. Let's see what happens. Single coverage here.
Well, the Heat could use just about all the clock on this possession.
But they'll foul, Eric, if they get to that position and just force the Heat to have the ball out of bounds.
Pick and roll. Hardaway does not rub Brandon off. Finds Marley. An open three. Short.
This time.
Leonard got it back. 3 seconds left. Leonard double pumps. And hits! He hit it, and the Heat win!
Vashawn Leonard! Vashawn Leonard off the glass! Oh, boy!
Oh, boy! Vashawn Leonard, a desperation double clutch shot as the clock runs out in Cleveland. The Road Warriors do it again. An incredible finish to this game.
We're going to go back and look at it, Eric. Vashawn Leonard, Dan Marley lined up a three-pointer as he did in Chicago, but that didn't go. Leonard chased it down in the corner. Watch him. There's Vashawn. He knows the clock is running down and out. Leonard, clutch it, shoot it, off the glass, off the rim, in the hole. The Heat win it. Oh, my.
New Year's Eve just broke out in Cleveland. Triumphant and joyful Pat Riley. And how nice was that for Vashawn Leonard? When he got the basketball, there was 3 seconds left. He knifed through the defense, banked it up, in for the win. The Heat win their 9th straight road game, go 11 over 500. For the first time in franchise history, the Heat are now 16-5, and they do it again. A spectacular finish here in Cleveland.